At the end of the day, I know who I am.
Welcome. You are listening to
Rainbow TableTalk.
Put your hands in the air like you just don't care. All right, we back at it.
Hey,
Now,
listen. Why do you do that to me? Why would you listen, y'all? 10 seconds till the show start.
yeah,
She get out her seat and go do what?
I had to pee. I'm not gonna lie. That's the truth. I was like, ooh, I think I feel like a little reservoir of pee right there, and I don't know how I'm gonna be laughing. Let me go pee real quick.
What's up, y'all? We live, baby. How y'all doing?
What's up, good people? Bring it in. Give everybody. Let's collectively have a good hug. Ooh, how you doing? How you feeling? You know, whatever. What? Producer? You starting already?
Producer.
Where's my drink? Producer.
Right. Producer A. Look how producer doing me now. Because I'm gaining weight. Producer getting me through the premieres now.
Not you got the
got diet beer.
Well, not diet. Do they take the sugar out? What they do?
I don't know what they do. It tastes like beer and water.
I know you get you some Four Loko.
I sure am drinking it.
You got some Four Loko on that cup? What? That Four Loko have you turned?
No. I'm too old for Four Loko. Yeah. How you doing?
Doing good. So what we got on the menus today?
Oh, okay. So,
yes.
As y'all know, it was National Coming Out Day because this is Pride Month again. Do we have 2 Pride Months? I feel like it's.
I think we're trying to be slick.
I think because I feel like we already had a Pride Month, but I'm all right with it. So I felt like it was, anyways. So it was National Coming Out Day, And my job gave out Skittles, by the way.
Okay.
I'm not complaining. And so our topic for today is coming out of toxic relationships.
You did good with that one. You did good with that one. Like coming out.
It was collaborative.
But shameless plug, if you haven't checked out our coming out story, please go onto YouTube and watch that. It was a great story.
Yeah. YouTube IG is streaming on Spotify right now if you like podcasts and don't have time to watch people. So
yes.
You can check that out. But definitely our coming out stories were pretty unique. And so now we want to talk about coming out of
toxic relationships.
So this week, I noticed that if you were one of the people who noticed that on your timeline, there was just many posts with a bunch of red flags. And at first I was like, what's this red flag stuff? Like what new internet trend is this? And so I had to, figure out what it was. And then I understood it. And it was basically people being like, these certain traits are red flags. Of bad relationships. And I think I've said this on here before. My sister told me that red flags look like Six Flags when you're in love.
It does. It does. You're like, you know what? Just give me all the flags. I don't care. I want to go on the ride.
Fun. This is so exciting.
I want to go on the ride.
So let me see if I see any that I saw that were interesting. So somebody said, when somebody basically says to you, let's just go with the flow, that's a red flag.
Baby, no, I had one. Well, I can't wait till we get into the meat pause of this whole conversation.
What's up?
No. You never had that joke back in the day? I don't even know that's appropriate nowadays. Like you say something that's sexually.
I thought we were pausing.
It's fine. It's no. You're like, what's wrong?
It's the end of the night. I'm tired. I don't. Anyway.
No, we're good.
Somebody said, if somebody's always basically like, I never get to see you, but they don't ever actually make plans to take you out on a date,
baby, get out of there. Get out of there. Get out of there. The one I had was, you don't look queer. I know I'm guilty of this in the past. You don't look gay. You don't look queer. That's a red flag. What do you mean?
Producer just said, what does gay look like?
Yeah. I mean,
gay has a vibe.
Yeah, it does. Gaydar. I know we're in a season space where we try to be politically correct.
But gay got a vibe.
Yes, you have your gaydar.
Yeah.
Now, if you're a stud or masculine center person, 99.9%, you might be gay. If you got a little, what is it, LeBray? What was it called?
That was it.
LeBaron?
Because one of my posts, when I did mine, I posted, if you got a tongue ring, that's a red flag.
Back in the day, we gotta look for that.
If y'all got tongue rings, you got a touch of toxicity in your life. And then my friend was like, I used to have a tongue ring, and I was like,
yeah, that's what we was looking for. That was indicators.
That was an indicator. And then I, for a minute, wanted a LeBray. And because that was definitely an indicator. What's the one, Alexis?
Meanwhile, you're doing that. I was thinking about how my mama used to say, if you wear your watch on your left hand, that means you're gay. I was like, Mom.
Yeah.
But
the indicator for me nowadays is the one earring with the cross. You got that, don't you?
Oh yeah. I tell you that right there. When you put that down one earring in, and then you put the other one that's like a baby one, you that's it. You pretty much welcome to the family.
Thumb rings.
A thumb.
Listen. I had thumb rings because I wanted to complete the look because I got my forearm tattoo, so I needed the thumb rings to go with it. But I guess my hand swelled up overnight because it was cutting off my circulation, so I had to.
We don't want you to have like gangrene because we want to look cute.
You didn't notice my new decorations?
The piñata in the back. What the? Who birthday? You doing that for the October Pride Month again? What?
Listen, they threw like a somebody was coming back to our department, and so they did like a Wizard of Oz theme thing, and they were just like somewhere over the rainbow, like you can return back home. And when I walked in, it was like nothing but a bunch of rainbow stuff, and I was like, "Is it the coming out party I've never had?"
Yes. They honored you. They
They
honored you.
honored
Low
me, and
key.
so at the end of the day, the girl was packing up, and I was like, what you about to do with that pinata?" And she
Look
was
at
just
that.
like, "Nothing. Let
Let me
me
let,
let me get that."
let me
So,
take that. Let me
so
take that.
now,
All right. You got it. It's part of the RTT family.
yeah,
Okay.
it's part of
Okay.
our team.
I like it. It's going with the whole thing.
Thank
Okay.
you.
So we're gonna go ahead and jump into. We had our little bit of
All right.
fun and talked about some some toxic red flags. So Duchess,
Mm.
we're gonna make this good now. Don't pull all the good red flags out front because we got some time with each other. But what was a red flag for one of like what was a red flag for you back in the day?
All right. So,
When you do that, I know you about to tell a good story. Let me grab
all
my
right.
pen
So,
here.
I was loose back in the days.
Oh,
Well,
was you? Was you?
I want to say loose. I just meant not tightly wound. Um, Back before I knew myself.
Mm.
Yeah. So I ended up going to somebody's house, and
Mm-hmm.
it was in the times. I listen. A disclaimer: I don't. Folks is crazy out here. I was
Mm-hmm.
young. My self esteem wasn't where it's at. Where it's at now. So some of
Okay.
the decisions I was making weren't as safe as the ones I would make now. So I ended up. I met somebody online. We
Okay.
talked for an extensive period of time.
This was AOL time or
Yeah,
Black
yeah,
Planet.
yeah. It was AOL. I'm talking AOL chat for real.
Ooh.
I ended up going to their house to meet them, and they didn't come out and open the door. Like they was just like the door is open. When I went in, the whole place was dark,
Mm.
and they was in bed.
Ready.
And it wasn't even like on some stuff. They literally were just like, I'm tired. I wasn't getting out of the bed like that. And
Why are
now
you
looking
lazy?
back over our time together, they never wanted to go out. They never wanted to go on dates.
You
They
should have
didn't want to
known.
do nothing. And they were just really, really a homebody. And to me, I should have took that red flag from jump and just
You
been
should have
like,
known that. You should have known that.
if you can't muster the energy
To
to come
come.
open the door for me,
Not
then
not even the door.
not
Turn
no,
on the
not even the
light.
door.
Turn
I'm
on the
talking about.
light.
And matter of fact, they had a roommate, and so it was like, it's not that. I'm like checking. It's dark in there. I'm checking
I,
around, and they like, not that door, this one. Like, come on, please.
I don't know your house.
I should have walked in
Yeah,
and walked my ass on back to my car at that
you
point.
should
But
have.
I
You
was
should
just
have.
young and dumb,
You could have
and
sprained your ankle walking in the dark like that. Stepped on a
right,
Lego. Bam.
right. I'd had to sue 'em. So, what about you, Kay? What's a red flag that you
I
had that
just
you just blatantly ignored?
I just pray, really pray that this person is not watching this.
We don't care.
You
We
might
do
know
not
who
care.
you are.
We,
You
we do not care.
we do not care. TikTok was. This was maybe years ago. Maybe it's a couple years ago.
You ain't gotta give a
Uh,
timeline. They
you know,
don't know.
give
That's
a
why I
little
said
timeline.
they. That's why I was saying they the whole time.
You know how we see before pronouns came,
Yeah,
like really, they was,
they
you
was
ain't
it.
gonna know who we talking about. So yeah, I was, filling out this young lady,
Hmm.
and she just had an eccentric vibe, just kind of drew me in, and she could cook, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna go to your crib and cook. When I pull up, just in the house is cool and stuff like that. Next thing you know, I hear meow. I hear meow. Yeah, not one, not two, not three, four, five. Five cats came out.
You got allergies.
I have asthma. I have allergies, and I just was like, let me muster it through. The food was good. We
No,
had
wait,
we had.
whoa. Pause. Because first
Woo,
of all, at
woo.
any work potluck, the first question I ask is, who cooked this? And the
Mm,
second question I ask is, do you have cats?
mm-hmm,
I'm not
mm-hmm.
eating nothing over your house if you got cats.
Yeah,
I'm sorry. Cats jump on you be like, my cats don't jump
yeah,
on
yeah,
the
yeah,
counters while you're there.
yeah, 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 yeah.
So you ate the food.
I ate the food. Food was good. Food was good.
You got cat
But
hair
then
in your
she had
mouth.
five. I think I still got it. She had 5 cats. And then on top of that, we got close. We had our moment. And then on top of that, I still decided to go back into that situation, maybe throughout the week. I should have known it was a red flag because I got asthma. I have allergies. I almost died. I had to take that damn Benadryl so hard. I was like, and she's like, "You okay?" I was like, "Yeah, I'm okay. I'm all right. I'm good."
No.
Knowing damn well that I would have not been here today. So that was if you got health conditions,
Don't
and
mess
you
with it.
come across that, that's a red flag for you. Don't try to don't try to push it.
All right. All right. So I've shared multiple parts of multiple relationships,
I
y'all.
thought you were gonna say multiple partners.
Yeah, no. Well, I've shared a lot of my past,
Yes.
um, and so I think a red flag for me.
Mm-hmm.
We were cohabitating and planning for the big to do, and I'm trying to pay for a venue, and they were, instead of helping towards things, they were buying hats and
What? Hats? This?
hats, expensive hats, like not just one hat.
Where you about to wear that? You about to wear that after the
Like, are
wedding?
you like? Because at that point, it was like, are you wearing this hat to the wedding, or because I'm putting money towards this venue on a monthly basis? So that should have been a red flag
Yeah, that should have been red flag. You should have
on
known.
priorities.
You're buying hats.
Yeah.
I don't think I even processed that yet. You're buying hats when we got a wedding that we're planning for.
Yeah. Yeah.
The hats
So
don't even go with the wedding colors.
not even. Not even. So
No.
so all right, so we
Yes.
want to talk about, we don't want to just talk about being in the toxic relationship.
Mm-hmm.
We want to talk about the process of coming out of
Yes.
toxic
Let's get into
relationship.
that.
So first, I would say that you have to recognize that you become something. People don't realize that they're in toxic relationships.
Why do
Like,
you think so?
no, you don't realize. I don't realize till I'm telling stories about my previous relationships, and then somebody's like, "That was toxic."
That was a
Normally,
little
producers
spicy. That was a spicy.
like, "That was toxic as hell," and I'd be like, "It was, wasn't it?"
Why do you think like in the moment we don't get it?
Because red flags look like six flags when you're
That
in
is
love.
true.
We like a little bit of that. I'm not gonna lie. For
Yeah,
most parts of my life, I enjoyed a little bit of crazy.
that's that Sag in you.
It was the fire. The fire
The fire.
sign
You like that
liked
fire
to get next to stuff that was dangerous and reckless. That's why I would go sit in somebody's house that I've never met before
in
in
the
pitch
dark.
dark.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I just don't get it. I don't get it.
In
Why would you
pitch
think?
dark and go hang out
No, I
like
just
this is
don't.
normal. Like, no, none of that is normal. But there's a part of me that, like a moth to a flame burned by the fire. I'm still attracted to the fire, but that shit'll eat
Mm-hmm.
you all the way up. And
Mm-hmm.
so there is that part that finds a little bit of danger exciting. Is that part that finds a little bit of the what ifs of a relationship exciting. It's that adrenaline rush. And it also is that Captain Save 'em syndrome,
Yeah,
like that
yeah.
moment where you're like, oh, they just need my help,
Mm-hmm.
knowing dang well
They don't need your help. They need
They don't need your
therapy, and
help.
they need to get their shit
Jesus.
together. I think it's, you're hitting onto something, because I think I heard somebody say this the other day. But sometimes we could date for potential versus dating for reality. We see
Yeah.
like, oh man, this person could be X, Y, and Z. If they maybe shift this, and then you're trying to go into this relationship thinking that maybe what's inside of me, I could possibly change that person.
Right.
You
Right.
can't.
Right.
Versus accepting the isness, the reality of who this person is and what they presenting to you.
I
Like
like that.
they
I like
got
that.
cats. Get your ass home.
Yeah. You got go
But
take care of the cats.
like
The
they was looking
isness
at me
of it.
like they were like,
I like that because I was thinking about it today when I was thinking about like preparing for the show and stuff,
yeah,
and I was like, you could potentially create your own toxic relationship, and not
hmm,
necessarily saying you, because we all have.
yeah,
Everybody has a toxic trait. Everybody has a fault. Everybody got something that's like, that's not so wonderful. But you could potentially create a toxic relationship by feeding the person too much information too soon.
say it again. That was,
You
oh,
you
that
can
was
create
sexy.
a
That was
toxic
sexy.
relationship by feeding the person too much information too soon.
Talk to
Me,
me more. Talk to me
I'm
more about that.
ambitious.
Ooh.
I'm goal oriented. I definitely have drive and passion to do things. If I say I want something, I'm going to go after it. I'm going to go after it hard. But
Mm-hmm.
when you talk to people about your dreams and your passions, it's almost like feeding information to a fortune teller,
Mm-hmm.
and all of a sudden you like, oh man, my mind is blown because you said my grandma came back in a dream and said, but the truth of the matter is, you, while researching, the fortune teller posted, I'm my grandma, I had a dream about my grandma the other day.
Yeah.
You fed them all the information that they're just
Yeah.
regurgitating to you, and now you falling in love with basically yourself.
Yeah. And that's a big thing, because especially for people that in essence don't got their shit together,
Yeah.
you will be very much attracted to someone like yourself that says, man, this person has stability, this person has vision, this person has ambition, and I want that.
Yeah.
And not failing to realize, and I know we'll probably turn the curve on this conversation, but all the stuff that they wanted in you is already in them, but they don't even see it. They don't
Yeah.
even see their own light. They like, all right, you got what I need. And it is like become a situation where that person is a leech. And they leeching off of you.
Yeah, because they see your light, and you know what they do to your light.
Bzz.
They,
Bzz,
they be
bzz.
covering up all your
Look.
light. Like, hey, bro,
Bzz,
hey,
bzz, 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 bzz.
hey,
Man, so when we talk about toxic trait, we say, okay, we're human, right? All of us got a little bit of a toxic trait. Even if you try to purge it out, you may still have some remnants of that. What do you think is like has your toxic trait?
you want me to put that out on the internet?
I mean, we having real
Producer.
conversations. Whatever is up to you, what you feel comfortable. I mean, this wasn't. This
Nah,
is
I
what
don't care.
happens
I'm
when
just playing.
when
I'm
we
playing.
like.
You know, I'm fully transparent. I don't care about y'all like that.
I walk around naked and man outside.
Producer, what you think my toxic trait is?
Talk too much.
Ooh, stop. Ooh, that sounded stank with it.
Damn, I talk too much.
You do.
What you mean I talk too much?
You talk a lot.
That's not a toxic trait though.
Oh, well, I don't know.
That you producer like
I
damn.
know, like,
Shut up.
okay, Prudence, go to sleep. I know we're doing this at toxic trait.
Hey,
Another person like that.
Hey.
It's so weird. Like, why would you ask me that? I don't know what
I-
your toxic trait is. It's your toxic trait. What is it?
maybe my top. Damn, producer was like, any opportunity to tell somebody how I really feel. Tell me how you really feel about
Really
me. You
tell
talk
me
too
how you
damn
feel.
much, and your breath
Yeah.
stink. That ain't. Even
I guess
that.
it do. I guess it do.
So I think that a toxic trait for me, one that I think I have tried to work on. Um, I am a sucker for my ego being boosted,
Mm.
and sometimes you can put yourself in unnecessary situations to elicit your ego being boosted. And
You know
so
that ego like a lot of
that's
love.
okay when you're single, but it's not always the best of traits when you are
I mean, you're in a relationship. You're like,
in a
okay, the
relationship.
ego
So
still
that's
black.
why, you got to slow down on the thirst trap videos online.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and then I'd be like, I wasn't even trying to do no thirst trap videos, but be all in the
I
video licking lips and winking eyes. So
listen.
I think
And
at
then
that
and
point
put
in time,
and doing something with your locks, just having
yeah, yeah,
your
yeah, yeah.
wondrous locks just flowing in the wind. You gotta be careful with that. I would say a toxic trait that I'm still, still processing and working through. The next relationship won't be the test of that.
Mhm.
Is sometimes staying in a relationship too long. Too long. I've had some long term relationships, and it's like it's like when you put something in the oven, it's like got burnt and it's done. Like let it go.
It's over.
Yeah. So I've had the challenge of okay, let it go. Just let it go. Just let it go. Let it go.
Basically, be like, I'm gonna eat through this burnt part of the chicken,
I'm like, not that bad. Let me put a
and
little butter on it.
hopefully my body will get used to it, and I'll start to like it.
Yeah, let me put some butter on it. So I've had to learn that. And I think that's just kind of, doing work on like, you know, some people come in your life for a reason, season, whatever that whole thing, lifetime. But then also knowing your own worth, like, yo, I gotta move on. I gotta leave this situation. So it's gotten better per each relationship, but even if it's not physically with that person, sometimes like the memory, like hope, like okay, let's let go of the memory. Let's let go of that move that you like. Okay, let's let it go. So that's I would say that's something.
So, okay, do you think that you stay in the relationship for the so let's dig into it. Are you staying in the relationship for the emotional attachment, the sexual
Mhm.
attachment? Is it a I don't want to be alone type deal? I don't know when I'm going to get
Sorry.
Oh gosh.
Sorry, guys.
the wall shook. That's your toxic trait right there. That damn TV.
Yeah. My tree back here, like, oh, wait a minute, who that?
Your tree shook.
This is good.
Um,
This one's gonna be a whole ass load of laughing.
take a sip of my diet beer.
I
That's
want
a
to be
good
your
question.
birth with that one though.
Answer, okay?
But yeah, okay. So, what do you
Okay.
think? Is it emotional, sexual? Like, what is the thing that keeps you in it?
Hmm. I don't think it at first, and maybe like in my younger years, it's probably the sexual part because it's like when it came down to lesbian, it's like, ooh, I like to have sex this particular way. Is the next person gonna be able to do the scissor and the move that I like? Because so I think at younger it was more the sexual part. Um, I would say like it wouldn't be too much of the emotional part because I haven't like that was missing. I think it's just it was me. It was just like not knowing my worth and just kind of just like okay, I, just I don't know. Like it was just kind of like let me stay in it. Let me stay in it. And it's like
I
no,
met
you
my
need
mama,
you need
so
yeah. Like you just kind of like I guess when you put in time, you don't want to let go of the time part.
yeah,
Like that's I think that was what it was.
I get that. I get that because
Yeah.
you can't get that time back, but you also can't get that time going forward back either. So,
Mm-mm,
at some
mm-mm.
point in time, the interesting thing is the my first marriage my first marriage, he was actually the first person I had had a relationship with that lasted over a year.
Wow.
Up until then, every relationship I ever had, I mean, I think the closest got to maybe 11 months.
Ooh.
But
Okay.
so every year with myself, I do a mental review, a mental
Mm-hmm.
just a critique of myself every year around
Mm-hmm.
my birthday, and I try to see how I can improve myself every year. So it's kind of like
Okay.
people do New Year's resolutions, but mine's gonna come from me around my birthday.
Yeah, I
So
do
it's
mine
like, all
this
right,
way.
where are you right now? Where do you plan on being next year, and how do you continue from there? So with relationships, I would do the same thing. And
Mm-hmm.
so Once I got to about the 10, 11 month mark, I'm going to be like, do I see myself with you
Mm.
forever
Mm-hmm.
for a season?
Yeah.
And if I don't see myself with you forever, then I'm not going to waste more than a year of your life, and you're not going to waste more than a year of mine. So by that time, I would have made the decision like, maybe we supposed to be friends.
Yeah. Maybe we best suited as friends.
Yeah, and so I think you have to put, not to, I'm not telling y'all that you have to
Mm-hmm.
put a time limit on your relationships. Um but I think with anything, you eventually need to say, if past this point it's not working out, then
Yeah.
why am I
Just
wasting
like
your time, and why am I wasting my time?
just kind of like a job. You kind of 3 months in, you kind of evaluate it. 6 months in, um, you kind of evaluate it.
Yeah,
So you definitely got to check in.
you got to check in with yourself.
What are some other ways you think that people um, can be more aware of like their own toxic traits, or recognizing toxic traits in a relationship?
You just got to own your BS, like, for real, for real.
Hmm.
Like, I think one of the nicest things about the relationship I'm in now is that when we hurt each other's feelings, intentionally or non intentionally, I don't think it, oh no, sometimes it might be intentional. But
Yeah,
anyway,
I know that's coming from your
yeah,
side.
like, but when we hurt each other's feelings, or when we have, I wouldn't even say arguments, it's more like just like disagreements, or like we don't see eye to eye, we really sit back and kind of assess what we've done in that, and instead of being like, well, you did this to me and you hurt my feelings with this, it's basically like taking a moment and being like, how could I have handled that situation better?
Hmm.
How could I have done something, like how did, what did I play a role, what role did I play in the foolery
Yes.
of what just went on, instead of being like, I can't believe I cooked all this food and then you done came in here and you ain't even gonna wash the dishes. Okay,
Yeah.
instead of saying that, then you can say something on the lines of like, I failed to communicate that I wanted you to wash the dishes.
Yeah.
Because it's
Yeah.
easy to say, you should know. But the truth of it is, everybody doesn't know. So, my bad. I'm sorry that I didn't say, hey, could you grab those dishes?
Yeah.
Because I wanted the dishes done before we went to bed that night. Like, and that's just an example, but I'm just saying, like, you have to own your role in what goes wrong in your relationship.
Mm. I love that. I'm about to use it on my mama tonight.
But
Hey,
communication is key.
well, hey, mama, when you like left those, well, I don't want. Yeah, no,
Yeah,
she
you don't
was.
want to get, hey, use that on your next relationship. Don't use that on your mama. Your mama will
What?
cut you rotten, and don't
You
act
see,
like I
because
don't
you
know.
was getting me hype.
Yeah, don't, no, don't listen. Don't let me set you up for failure. Like,
Yeah,
hey, Norma,
like that.
you
But
left the
like
fork in the sink
again, after
again.
I told you, after I told
Yeah,
you,
yeah. You gonna get clean cussed out for that.
and I'm gonna say, you told me to. You gave me this tip to do this. No, but like even with thinking about that, like even like with awareness, I think it's just kind of knowing yourself. Like for instance, I'm in the single season, so it's spending a lot of time getting to know like my traits and who I am, so that when you show up in a relationship, you're like, all right, this is how we're gonna communicate. Because I think sometimes that's where we get a little dismantled around the communication piece. Because we're the way that we've communicated, we've been groomed that in that way, either through watching the relationship between our parents, or however that caregiver relationship went through,
Yeah.
and then two, like on top of that, past relationships that we've been through, that's kind of adds fuel to the fire.
Oh yeah.
You know.
Yeah, and even in that, you can have some triggering moments from the way people have, like, if you've tried to communicate with somebody in the past and they didn't receive it well, or it turned up into a big argument in your
Mhm.
next relationship, you may be less likely to convey your needs in that relationship because you tried in the past and it didn't work. So I think we have to be mindful about starting a relationship new. So you can't come into a relationship with the old baggage that you had. And I mean, I know
Yeah.
it's cliche stuff. It's like, of course, I know this, but do we actually take the time to, one, figure out the bags, unpack the bags? Because I know when I go on a long trip, sometimes I just come home and I just drop the bag by the door or by my bed, and
Yeah.
then I'll unpack it, and then so like it'd be like 2 months down the line, and then
It,
I'd be like, I had a shirt.
raise your hand, and you're like, you know what? When I went on that one trip, I'm like that. Look, there's probably been bags before the pandemic that I need to, I
Exactly.
need
So
to
what I'm saying is, there's a couple of bags that you got to make sure that you unpack. You take the time to properly unpack. Is that how we say it? Uh, Producer, or am I talking too much?
Huh?
Now you're not listening.
Not producer ain't even listening. This like what?
You sound, this is doing really good, guys. You guys are staying on topic, and it sounds really good on me.
Ain't nobody was even asking about. You see how producer do
She
producer.
sounded, she sounded like she had one eye open and like like barely listening unless if somebody.
Producer has tuned all the way out. God dang. You know what I'm
Oh
saying? That's
my.
producer toxic trait, is tuning out, man.
No, I mean you gotta be careful with the toxicity because the toxicity could show up. And I know like our next show we're gonna be talking about domestic violence, but the physical, emotional, mental abuse.
So, have you ever left the relationship for whatever reason and gotten back into the relationship even though they had not fixed the aforementioned reasons?
Yes. And that was one of the relationships I was in for a long time. I was in a 7 year. I was like 7 year toxic relationship. Yeah, 7 years. But it was kind of like what was the toxic about it? And well, let me preface this. There was a gift in it. Okay, in hindsight, there was a gift in it. There were some good moments, but majority of that time was toxic. It was just kind of on and off, And instead of when you start kind of getting to that space, like this relationship is familiar. You may, oh, I don't want to start all over again. And from the premise of why we started this show, like dealing with my sexuality, and it's just like, damn, I don't know if I'm going in that limbo stage. I don't know if I want to be with another one. I just may just want to be single. So it's like you get caught up in that, well, if I'm going to, I used to say, I think I've heard someone say, if I'm going to do the wrong thing, let me do it with the right person. And I thought that was the right person.
Hmm, nice.
Yeah. So that's what I thought at that point. But yes, to answer that, I did not ask just willy nilly like, oh, come back, come on, let's work it out, and just ignore it, put that stuff under the rug, and especially if a person's not wanting to have consistent behavior, both of
Yeah.
us,
Yeah.
I'm not challenging it because you don't want to mess up the vibe. It's gonna repeat itself, and,
Yeah.
and it did.
And then normally it by that point it snowballed.
Yeah.
Um I like you're talking about red flags looking like Six Flags. There's stuff
Hmm.
that happens in that beginning of the relationship that is during that infatuation stage,
Not
and they
honeymoon.
say that takes about infatuation takes about 12 to 18 months to wear off.
Oh yeah, my last one, month 19, we was like, okay, something is not. We was like, okay, something. Yeah,
Damn, I can't stand your ass.
month 19 was like, okay, I'm out. Something ain't
Yeah,
right.
yeah. So you gotta look at it in that aspect. I remember that in one of my exes, they would chew gum loudly,
Oh gosh.
and I can't stand it. I can't stand it. But in the beginning, I didn't hear it. In the beginning, I mean, I always used to keep gum on me, and so in the beginning, I never heard it. I didn't know it, and then once that infatuation started wearing off, I was like, why does it sound like cows are in my
I
car?
can't live like
Like
this.
I can't do this. And so it got to the point where they would be like, "Hey, you got some gum?" And I'd be like, "No, I could have a pocket full of gum.
You not no gum for you.
I could have a gumball machine in my trunk, and I'm gonna be like, nah, play, I ain't got nothing. Can we stop to the store and get some gum? No, we ain't got no time.
Absolutely,
Like,
absolutely not. Why is it that you think we're so hesitant sometimes to say like little nuances like that? Would we find it cute at the beginning?
no, hell no, I ain't find it cute. I didn't hear it. I didn't notice it. I think that's it. You don't notice the red. You don't
Oh my
notice that they
goodness.
have red flags.
Well, is chewing gum really a red flag?
No, I don't mean a red
Yeah.
flag. Okay. I mean, you don't notice traits that. Right. It might be. It might be.
I mean, it's one of them things like
I can't. Okay,
I
so
don't know.
maybe like traits that you. But what I say is to say it's not a red flag per se because it doesn't mean like he chewed gum so his credit bad. Like that's not one of those things. But what I'm saying is when in the beginning things that normally irritate you or you we can't notice these things in the beginning. I didn't notice that you chewed gum like
Yeah,
I don't know. I don't notice that you chew gum like that. So I'm what else am I not noticing?
yeah. I think what happens is that that's something small,
Yeah, that's something small.
but that the bigger issue you're not saying anything about. So it's like that little issue's like, dang, I don't like the way you chew gum, and I don't like you to do this, and I don't like it starts to kind of it's a deeper reason that's going on.
Yeah, it builds
Just
up. And so like you have to pay attention to those things that are going to lead to
yeah,
your essential demise. Producer, you got any toxic
yeah, yeah. Let's get
stories?
into that. Let's get into that.
No, I'm good.
You know what, producer? So now, present day, what are some of your like red flags? Like, not gonna work.
Um, it's definitely how you relate to my children.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
That's beautiful.
like just reading, I have to read fakeness. I have to read fakeness. So I had a ex girlfriend who tried to become the next girlfriend, and and she was just like, "Oh, can I FaceTime with the kids? Can I do this?" And it
You know,
wasn't
you don't want to
really
FaceTime with my damn
it,
kids.
it wasn't genuine. Like it you know when people are being real and
Yeah,
it wasn't genuine.
yeah. You got the
So
energy that wasn't setting right.
definitely how you do with my kids. Red flag for me. Um if you tell me that you own a hair salon,
We know you about to come with something crazy. Go
yeah,
ahead, man. Go ahead.
Shut up.
don't.
Shut up.
But
Yeah. No, go ahead because it's good. I know it's good.
like if you tell me that you per se own a hair salon and
Yes.
then when I FaceTime with you, you actually are just working the hair
You're
store.
a worker.
It's just
Oh,
and that's
yeah.
fine.
Just
Like I
say
don't
it.
like it don't bother me, but the fact that you tried to identify the fact that I'm a entrepreneur, I'm a worker, so I'm always talking about doing this. So you fake and baked a whole business
Yeah.
to impress me.
Yeah.
That don't impress me.
I think it come to a point that says you don't need to do all of that. Just be
Yeah,
yourself
be
and
real.
just
Like
be
be real.
honest. Say, hey, yo, this is where I work. This is what I do, and then go from there. I would say for me, if you ain't, because I'm really big about spirituality.
Okay.
If you don't have a belief in God, whatever you deem as God,
Yeah.
um, that's just not. If you don't have no type of spiritual foundation to you, and you just like, oh no, I don't believe it. Whatever.
Yeah.
That ain't gonna work for me.
That's not gonna work.
No judgment. We could be friends.
Yeah.
You do what you do you. But for me, that's a deal breaker. I mean,
But it's not gonna work. because you know you got to
Well,
pay bills, and it's a certain point in time where you can't, like, you've done all you can do, and now it's just like, oh, I gotta pray, or
yeah,
I need to, or in the beginning, oh, let's pray about this situation, and then you got somebody
yeah.
who
I don't need a woman that's
don't
gonna
believe
pray
you.
pray over
That's right.
me, pray for
Yeah,
me. We pray for each other, but I think it's like when you face life challenges or you're going through something. I don't want it to be necessarily that you're all depending on me. You know what I'm saying? You need to be able to stand on your 2 feet, whatever that looks like for you, and say, okay, I'm going to connect with God. I'll connect with God. I'm there to support. We're there to support each other, but I'm not looking to your baggage to be all on me. You know what I'm saying? Like, you need to have some type of foundation. We need to be able to pour into each other spiritually, because life is could be challenging.
yeah,
So I need you to have that. If you ain't got that, you like, that don't matter to me. I ain't
yeah.
connecting with no God. Yeah, that's gonna be a red flag for me.
So I didn't realize that uh, what I'm about to say was so important until my current relationship.
Mm.
Um, I'm realizing that it is important that the person you are with does not make you their world. Meaning, and
Oh.
when I say not, I'm not saying not a priority, but like
Hmm.
one of the sexiest things my girlfriend can do is be like, I'm going out with my girls. Like,
Girl,
I
you
don't
better wear that outfit. Oh, I see you.
like
Get outfit.
like
Oh.
you don't need me
Mm.
for all of your enjoyment. I don't have to fulfill all of your
Yeah.
happiness. I don't have to fulfill all of your time. Um, because that can be a very daunting task, especially when you're a person who is a creative, when you're a person who
You
is an
need that
entrepreneur,
space.
when you have so much that you have going on. Having someone who is like on your neck
Uh-uh.
like, all the
That's not
time,
gonna work. That's not gonna work,
it
honey. I
doesn't work.
need you. And I think, and like what you like, I would say that's one of mine too. And in my long term relationship, it was that kind of. I'm more of kind of like an outgoing, little bit balanced. But they was like clamping down. And then when I got into my last, I said, look, I want to see you go out. You need to go with your homegirls. Don't feel that you need to call me.
Yeah.
Like, go. I trust you. Go have a good time. Get drunk. I mean, do what you need. Have a good time. But it's like that sense of independence you need to have in a relationship that we cannot. Like, you cannot be just homebody all the time. I mean, you cannot just want to be clank clank. You got to go out there and
And
be do
like,
do your
cause
thing.
me, I'm not gonna be out all the time. Like, that's no longer my thing.
Yeah.
I think I'm half the time if I'm home, I'm tired. So uh
Hmm.
I don't necessarily want to go out, but I don't want to stop you from going out. Like, I don't
Yeah.
necessarily sometimes um I'm a like a I call myself like an introverted, like
Ambivert.
like hold on, what's the damn word for it?
You're
What's
ambivert, omnivert.
I'm an extroverted introvert.
I
So
heard. Yeah.
I need to be around people
Hmm.
to have a good time, so work and socialization, but then I have to be by myself for a little bit to recharge. And
Yeah.
so some people, being around people recharges them. That
Hmm.
is not me.
Yeah.
And when I'm with my significant other, it doesn't mean that I need space from them. It just means that I'm okay with having a night where I'm on one side of the couch, you on the other side
Yeah.
of the couch,
Yeah.
and we just, picking shows or looking through our phone. And I appreciate you being there, but
We
we
don't
don't.
have to, like it's still in a sense of engagement. But yeah, I think that's very important. That it's that sense of independence, and I think it gives longevity to a relationship
Yeah, like
versus that.
go. Man, my girlfriend be like, I'm going out of town in a couple weeks.
Yeah, please go on. If you want to go on a girls trip, go on a girls trip.
Yeah, no,
Do your thing. I think what's also important too is kind of like going off a little bit like what you're saying, of not making a person your world. Big on like emotional availability and communication, like be
okay,
able to whatever that looks like, but being able to communicate how you feel
okay,
and share how you feel. That's something. If you're like you shut down. I ask you, hey, why do you feel about this? And you're like, I don't know. To me, that's a red flag. You need to be able to, even if you got to put that in writing, you need to be able to articulate how you feel, share how you feel, step into that space of vulnerability. If you feel like you can't do that, or you're not making the effort, whether that's like finding a way to heal that.
Mm.
And I know everybody's communication styles are different, but you got to make an effort to either be in a space that you're working through that.
Yeah, because if I tell you, I need to talk to you, but I'm gonna text it to you, I need you to be honest.
Nah, I'm a
No,
talker.
no, hey, no. If you said whatever way we could do
Yeah,
it,
I did kind of said that.
hey,
I did say that. I
listen,
did say I got to work on that.
because I stutter sometimes, and I don't.
I did say that. And I mean, I do it too. Sometimes if I'm overwhelmed with feelings,
Yeah,
I may have to just kind of process it, then turn around and write you later, how I
you know,
feel.
and I think for me that stems from, you learn how you live your life and you learn how you go about your life from how you were in your childhood. For
Hmm.
me, I always felt at a certain point in time that my parents weren't willing to hear me, or they were listening to respond instead of listening to understand. And
Hmm.
so for me, it became when I wanted to convey a point to them, I would write it, and so I would write them letters. And
Yeah,
so,
you're a big writer.
yeah, I'm a writer. So sometimes um, when I can't really talk to people about something, I will write it.
Hmm.
Capture Allen says my first girlfriend couldn't do anything without grocery shopping, laundry, hanging out, etc. It's a big part of the reason we are not together now.
Yeah,
God dang, you couldn't go grocery shopping without you playing.
yeah, yeah.
Listen, I ain't gonna lie, laundry.
I like.
If you gotta go to the laundromat, going with your significant other is kind of fun though. Like,
Yeah,
cause you be in there like shooting shit, like cutting shit,
yeah,
and then
yeah.
folding clothes. So
I'm laughing at the grocery shop because I could recall like me and my ex, we would every like we had this routine like every like Saturday or Sunday we'll go grocery shop because we'll meal prep. But it got some points that I don't know, just maybe the energy is like, well, I want to go to Publix by myself. I'm like, I need my own car. It's just sometimes you just need your own space. Let's have our own car.
I
Okay, we'll be
prefer it.
back up in the car.
Well, and that post pandemic, I'm completely changed. Oh, Cash Allen said they had a wash and dry at home. But post
Hmm.
pandemic, like life has changed. I'm just gonna order in stuff. But I
Yeah,
remember, in our earlier relationship, I would leave the house and go grocery shopping. And I'm talking about listen to full albums while I'm grocery shopping. Just walk down every aisle, don't need nothing. Just because I needed time away. I needed like some
yeah.
time to myself.
Sometimes you
So I
do.
definitely understand like needing a break.
Yeah, it's important. It's important, and that's the thing is don't avoid. As we kind of close up here, don't avoid the red flags, and it's hard and it's challenging because we have this innate connection to want to be with people and be in relationship, and I think sometimes what I'm discovering when I look back on it, sometimes we can have like a lack mindset, like.
Yeah.
Specifically, I'm speaking for myself. Like, okay, am I gonna find that? Is this the only one? Am I gonna find someone else? Or like you start to put up a lot of bullshit that you don't need to put up with,
Yeah.
and you just really need to sit with it and say, can I, with certain things that you see a person is doing, can I really live with this? Can I cohabitate with this? And really understanding your values. I think sometimes it's when sex get involved, when the person is wine and dining you, you're laughing and all of that kiki and all of that is fun, but you have to really just kind of sometimes think long term, and we don't want to do that. We just if that and that everybody has their own different dating style, relationship style. People might want a little short term fling. If that's
Yeah.
your thing, cool. But really kind of getting connected to your values, that will help you understand, like, is this toxic, and watch and observe. And if you have a spirituality to you, start like asking what things need to be revealed to me now
Yeah.
or over time. So that's going to help you, know if that's a situation for you. Otherwise,
And
that's going to be
and
some
you know,
toxic stuff.
you don't want to be um mistrustful of every and anybody. However, you also need to make sure that you're paying attention to when you're being manipulated. You need to pay attention to
Hmm.
when people are using you. You got to pay attention to these things because
Like the old white anthem, when people show you who they are, believe them.
Producer has finally woken up.
Woken up. Like you up now. We about done.
We about done. It's a
You're
producer.
welcome.
Drop the mic. That's it. That's all y'all needed. That's all y'all needed.
They are. Believe them, and that's true. So you know, just because they showed up with a lace front wig on, just know they might not have no hair.
Yeah, they might just
That didn't make
be.
no sense to you?
Jesus, have mercy.
Have mercy.
You need to know that gonna be a.
Sorry, it's this diet. It's this diet beer.
Sipping. Well, this was
No,
good.
but listen, y'all are wonderful.
Mhm.
You're valuable. You're
Yes.
worth a lot. So, um, you came out the closet. Now it's time to come out these toxic relationships. Okay.
Yes.
Cause okay, one more of the red flags that was
Okay,
shared.
go ahead. Go
So,
ahead. Go ahead.
one of my friends is a trans woman,
Yes.
and they were like, one of the red flags is when they be like, I ain't never done this before with a trans woman, and and she was like,
Yeah.
I've heard that before. So,
Don't lie.
just know your worth,
Yes.
know your value, and don't let anybody devalue you.
Yep. You are love. You are love.
Kate, so tell us
This
a
is
little bit
good.
about our next episode. Who we got coming up?
Yes, what is it? October the 28th, we'll have Jewel the Gem coming on our show. She is a Black activist, really big in the Black and queer community. So we're going to be talking about domestic violence. So she's going to come on and share her story, how she connects with community and survivors. So looking forward to that. So please tune in and be on the lookout when we post that and share with your friends.
Yep. So don't forget, we're on Facebook, IG, Twitch, Spotify, YouTube, all these different places. And so you can find us, like us, share us. If you have things that you want us to talk about, hear about, email us at rainbowtabletalk20@gmail.com. Just hit us up. Slide into them DMs, but just know KJ is the only single.
Yeah, you can slide in my DMs anytime you want to. Anytime. Don't DM me after 9 o'clock. I'll
Because she's gonna
answer
be
you after
free.
business hours. Yeah.
All right. I love y'all.
Love y'all.
It's been real. Producer, you got
Peace.
anything to say?
Have a good night.
Oh, jeez. Get produce. She gonna be hyped next time.
Producer
Right?
needs some of your iron pills. That's all.
I know that's what it is. And I
All
got
right.
it. All
Love
right.
you.
Love y'all.
Bye.
Bye.